to me, I came to South Phoenix because my niece, Marilyn Torres, decided to go into the nursing program here, and she was the second cohort group of the nursing program. I, of course, sold my house, became a teacher, you know, and was living up in the Glendale area, further out. And she said, Titi, you need to come to South Phoenix and check out South Phoenix, because she moved here, right? She moved here. And I'm like, I don't know that I want to go to South Phoenix. And she said, come and check it out. Come and check out. I'm taking the nursing program at South Mountain Community College. So I said, okay. You know, I came to check it out, but I was teaching in Glendale, and I was happy, and I was fine where I was. I sold the house, and I was doing good. And so I came to South Mountain, and I thought, oh. And then I remembered something I was told in Nigeria by one of the elders. And that's the honest truth. I was told that a time would come when I would sit at the base of a mountain. Now, I thought it was the house I had, because behind the house, there was kind of like a mountain hill. And I thought, oh, this is it. I'm done. Okay, I got it. But it wasn't. But when she said, yes, I'm going to South Mountain Community College, I said, South Mountain Community College? Okay, you know, I'm a Spanish teacher. I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm good. And when I came, and she said, yeah, this is the nursing program, and she was showing me all this stuff, and she had an apartment right here at the Montana, hello, okay, didn't get past me, on baseline. I'm like, okay, Ailina, you're happy here, I'm good where I am over there in Glendale, no problem. And she said, Tita, you know there's a storytelling institute? I said, a what? She said, a storytelling institute. I said, oh, I'm going to go and take a look at that. What do you mean you have a storytelling institute? They have a storytelling institute in here? She said, yeah, go down and go see. So I went down, and Lynn Ann was in her office. And so I walked in and said, hello. And she said, hello. And I said, are you at the Storytelling Institute? She goes, yeah. I said, oh, I'm a traditional elder, and I didn't know that you had an institute. You can have an institute around storytelling here and all that. And so she said, yeah, blah, blah, blah. You know, we talked a little bit. And then I left. Well, of course, matters of destiny cannot be evaded. And so because I wanted to get certified as a Spanish teacher, and I had to do the state exams, and I had to win a mentor program because I didn't come out of an education field, I came out of anthropology and all that. What happened was that I had to take classes. And so I said, can I take some storytelling classes to fulfill the requirement for professional development? Because I'm curious. And they said, oh, sure you can. You know, because you have to do all these things for the state to get your license and pass the test and all that. So I said, I'm taking a storytelling class. I'm going to check this out. And that's how I ended up. I saw when I took my first class, Doug Bland was teaching it, and Liz Warren walked right through that door. She walked in like a storm, boom, and turned around. I said, I need to know who that lady is. That's exactly how I got here. I need to know who that lady is. And then Lynn Ann got sick. And by then, I'd been through my process, taking classes and doing what I was doing. And Liz and I became really good friends. And Lynn Ann got sick. And Liz came in running one day, will you take over Lynn Ann's classes? I said, what do you mean? Lynn Ann is sick. You can teach storytelling. You know what to do. And I went, okay. You know what, I was kind of confused. And unfortunately, Lynn Ann retired. And then it was time to compete. And Liz said, I want you to compete. And I said, and she said, but you know, can you do an adjunct? And I'm being honest, I said, no. It's enough to do adjunct, and I did one semester and I helped out, you know, but y'all paid me, and no. As a business person, I was very honest. And she said, but if you stay and you do this, I'd like you to consider being a faculty member, competing for the position. And I was like, ooh, I don't know, if I want to do that. And I thought about it, and I said, okay, I'll put my hat, I'm an outsider, obviously, right? Because you have people inside and outside. I didn't know Maricopa at that level. And so I said, okay, Liz, I'll be your candidate. Okay, I'll put the application in and all of that. And it was really interesting. A lot of things happened. And I remember the day after I got the position and all that, Liz threw a big party. And Lynn gave me a book. She came up to me. And she said, I wrote something in here for you. And I said, okay. And when I opened it, I was shocked, literally shocked. She said, I know I was tough with you, but I want to tell you why. She wrote it in the book. She said, because the day you walked through my door, I asked, is this the woman that was going to replace me? And I heard a resounding yes. And so I was tough on you, just to see. And the universe was right. I cried like you would not believe. I literally just fell in the chair and just started crying. I was looking at him and said, I'm okay. Because then I understood what I was told. You will live and seat yourself at the base of a mountain. And that's why I say matters of destiny cannot be evaded. I was told this a long time ago, and that's how I got here.